It was the quiet evening of September the 10th when there was a court case scheduled, Seb against Serge. Minutes before the court case would start, the unbelievable happened. The courthouse blew up. Some people think it was an attempt of murder, a terrorist attack. Others think it was a way of sending a message.
Hello, I am the Supreme Judge of the Court of the Gay-ass SMP server. That day, court was going to begin. I'm the judge, so I had to be one of the first people to arrive in the courthouse to get everything prepared and to call all witnesses, all the lawyers, and the people really. I was going to. I was close by. I heard the explosion. It was quite big, you know. It was a loud explosion. So I went over to investigate, obviously, because it was in the direction of the courthouse. And I saw the big crater. It was at least 15 to 20 blocks deep, maybe. I could be misinterpreting, but it was big. It was really big. That you could tell how many explosives there were there. Simply because Daniel died. And he had full netherite, enchanted netherite, and that terrified me. And I'm just glad that it didn't happen while court was in session, because if court was in session when it went off, it would have been much worse. It would have been a very bad time. So, and I'm thankful for that, but it's also a tragedy because, well, a government building was destroyed. So, I don't know, it's like, it's weird. That's just it. Just happened. Couldn't stop it. It's my only regret.
So, as the courthouse blown up, investigations began. Unfortunately, as the investigations were going nowhere, people were demanding answers. And that's when people spoke up and shined some light over the situation.
My name is Sebastian, and I'm Chief of Police in the world of chaos. So it was a Thursday night. I was relaxing in my house after a rough day at work, reading my favourite book, and that's when I got a phone call from my lawyer Daniel. He explained to me his approach to my court case, which was going ahead the next day, and we both came to a conclusion, well, that I was fucked. However, he did promise me that he would figure something out before the deadline. The following day, shortly after I had lunch, I was losing hope. I wasn't feeling good and I thought we had lost. But I received another phone call from Daniel and I noticed that something had changed. He was, in a great mood and I could almost feel the positivity radiating from him. He told me to meet him at his office. And, I was delighted to hear that. At 3 p.m, I arrived at his office and we got straight to business. And that's when he told me that he planted a stack and a half of TNT under the courthouse. I was really surprised, but also delighted at the same time. A glimmer of hope, had emerged out of a situation where defeat seemed inevitable. We then, proceeded to do the legal stuff, sign some documents, and that's when he told me that he had to go set up the detonator. I told him that, the plan sounded good, and I went back home. 15 minutes before the court case the following day, I was on my way to the courthouse, and, I was feeling energetic and ready to fuck shit up. We were about to commit one of the greatest, probably most strategic terrorist attacks in the history of Gaius SMP. And just before I had arrived, disaster occurred. The whole courthouse blew up before the court case had even started. All that was left was an enormous crater. This was the moment I realized I had hired the biggest idiot.
So this looks like a case solved. Daniel planted the TNT and blew up the courthouse, but you'll be surprised to hear that there is more to the story.
Hello, my name is Daniel, and I'm a lawyer keeping the law in a world of lawlessness. Alright, so where was I? I was working on a project when I got a call from a friend of mine, Seb. He basically asked me to be his lawyer, either because no one would represent him, or he knew I'm a dirty lawyer. So I knew this man was guilty. He was a homicidal maniac, for God's sake. And I knew this, but I couldn't just let him get thrown in the slammer. So I had this amazing idea. When Seb inevitably loses the trial, I would blow up the courthouse. After I managed to gather all the resources, I saw I wasn't the first to have this thought. Someone else had rigged the witness stand to blow up. Silly me, I should have investigated before placing all the TNT, because I accidentally triggered the explosion, blowing up the courthouse. But what I still can't get out of my mind is, who planted the rest of the TNT?
My name is Rice, and I'm a soup kitchen volunteer. On that day, I was chilling in Gas SMP, minding my own business. Until I stopped minding my own business, because I heard Serge was looking for a lot of gunpowder. And I was like, wow, Serge, what are you doing with so much gunpowder? And he was like, don't worry about it. So I didn't worry about it, but I was still curious. So I kept bugging him and kept asking. Fast forward, so I was on my way to my humble soup kitchen from my humble abode to go restock my baked potatoes. I flew down near the fireworks shop, and I saw Serge's and Harry's name tag, and I thought, well, I might as well go in. I mean, I need to use the end chest anyway. So I walked in, and there was Harry and Serge looking into a strange-looking shulker. I, being the bright and intelligent and smart being I am, decided to look inside the shulker too, to see what was inside, because I was simply curious. When I looked inside, you'll never believe what I saw. I saw explosives in the shulker. And I was so shocked and scared. I was like, oh my god, what are they planning to do with this? I hope it's nothing bad. That wouldn't be really nice. Then, one of them, I forgot who it was, broke the shulker, and I picked it up by mistake. They asked for it back, but I didn't want to give it to them. But then they started to hold out their swords and started to attack me, so I felt really threatened. I gave them back their silly little shulker and went back home. Later, I was in the call with a few people, and Seppi joins. A bit after Seb joined back, I saw at the bottom of the screen, D Temple XD blew up. And at first I thought, oh, maybe it was a creeper. But I thought it was weird that it didn't say he was blown up by a creeper. Then everyone began pointing fingers at each other, blaming them for the TNT. And I remembered that Serge and Harry had TNT. So I was like, Serge in the call, and I said that Harry and Serge had TNT. But then I was immediately silenced and got told to shut up in the Minecraft chat and to keep quiet. And after I got a DM from Serge on Discord saying, what the heck? And he was disappointed and stuff. So I began defending him.
Hello, my name is Serge, and I am CEO of Obelisk Enterprise. So I was going to the court against Seb, and I knew I was going to win the case. I was accusing him of police brutality, murder and corruption. I had all my evidence files and witnesses ready. He couldn't dodge the defeat. But I knew that he wouldn't get punished enough, as there aren't any punishments put in place in the judicial system in the Chaos SMP. So I came up with the idea to assassinate him during the trial. When I shared my crazy thoughts with my colleague Harry, he told me that if he was in my shoes, he would rig the witness stand with minecart TNT. So I got on researching the mechanism that will kill Seb instantly while on the witness stand. I spent, let's say, the next 2 days gathering the resources required. I did loads of testing as well, making sure that only Seb would die and the blast radius wouldn't kill anybody else. I wanted to have the collateral damage as small as possible. and I came to the conclusion that 10 minecart TNT would be enough to kill Seb in full netherite armor. So what I had planned is that I would have 10 Minecraft TNT stacked on each other 3 blocks deep under the witness stand, and I would make a 14 block redstone trail going behind the court. And then I would put a wood plank where a button would have been placed. It was already Friday and I decided to rig the stand as the area wasn't highly populated and it was a great time for it. It didn't take me long as I knew what I was doing. I covered everything with sand to cover the redstone track, and then I showed my colleague the sand block he will need to break to uncover the wooden plank and place a button on it and press it when I will give him the signal. The signal was quite simple actually. When I would be done questioning Seb, I would give him a note reading, "We only need to be lucky once, you need to be lucky every time." So after he would have read it out loud, my colleague would press the button which would activate the TNT. So after I finished placing down the TNT, I went back to the headquarters to grab some documents required for the court as it was going to start soon. When I was coming back to the court, I heard a big explosion and I saw that Daniel died in the explosion. My heart started pumping really fast as I thought that my TNT went off, but I knew in my mind that it could not have been it as it required the redstone impulse to activate it. When I got on the scene, I couldn't believe what I saw. The whole court was gone, just like that. The only thing that was left was some part of the roof. I really thought I miscalculated the TNT required, and I really thought that it was my TNT that did this much of a damage. I was shocked. I decided to stay as low as possible so I could not be suspected on this matter. Later I found out that it was Daniel who put another stack and a half of TNT under the court, and he activated the minecart TNT by accident. That was the only thing that I didn't test for. I didn't take into account that some idiot would come around and activate the minecart TNT. For the matter of fact, I still don't know how he managed to activate it as it required a redstone signal. The funny thing is that my colleague was worried that he might be injured when pressing the button, but in the only picture going around on the internet of the bombing, you can still see the wooden plank, which shows that my colleague would have been fine, and my calculations were obviously correct. This had to be the great assassination attempt in the gas SMP, but unfortunately it was ruined. As the note says, we only need to be lucky once, you need to be lucky every time. To be honest, it wasn't anything to do political wise, it was more about sending a message. Nobody fucks with Obelisk Enterprises.